31 with it.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Madela Masai if you're new here, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Okay, so as promised, we are doing a real estate video. Like I said, I'm going to continue doing real estate videos, even though I am now in Texas and I don't have my Texas real estate license yet, but I still have a lot of knowledge to bring and to share for especially new agents. So for today's video, as the title says, I'm going to be talking about how to get your real estate license in 3 months versus 6 months. I got my license in Georgia, so I did the Georgia pre-licensing course, and that was a 75-hour course that I had to take, and the average time that course takes is 6 months. Now, this will only work if you, which I'm assuming, I think it will only work if you do the online course, because you can go at your own pace, but you can only do this if you're disciplined. If you're not disciplined and you don't think that you can't really trust yourself to study when you need to, and you feel like you're just gonna forget to study because you don't have like a set appointment to go to class, then I suggest you just do the in-person class. Okay, now just a quick disclaimer, my son is sleeping, so I'm gonna be talking like softly. If you want to turn your volume up, please do so. And I don't want my sister's dog to start barking, so just turn your volume up. I'm sorry from talking softly. Just turn your volumes up. Okay. All right. So I actually finished my licensing, the course itself, in 4 months. However, I took a 3-week break. And had I not taken that break, I would have finished it within 3 months. So I'm, not kidding. I'm actually telling you how to do it in 3 months. Now, the reason why I took that break in the first place was because I veered off of the steps that I'm about to share with you right now. The first thing that really set the tone for me finishing this course so quickly was discipline. So like I mentioned, you have to be disciplined, right? It's not that hard, and I feel like if you set a strict schedule, which I did. So I set a very strict schedule because I had 3 jobs, sometimes working up to 80 plus hours a week. I had 2 babysitting jobs, and I was working at Target, I think. Was I? I really can't remember. Was I? I think I had 2 jobs actually. At one point I did have 3 jobs, but I think at the time I had 2 jobs. 2 jobs. Can't remember. I was working a lot, right? Anywho, so I made sure that I did my studying. I did at least 2 hours a day after work, or at least 2 chapters a day, every single day, right? So that was my strict schedule. And to be disciplined, I feel like even if you didn't grow up with disciplined parents and you were taught just to do things whenever, just go with the flow, if you change the way that you think about doing something and you become more if you become more result focused versus task focused, then you can be disciplined, right? So for example, like if you're somebody that wants to get into fitness, and this is like advice for myself, but if you're someone that wants to get into fitness and all you're just thinking about is, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so exhausted, I'm gonna be so tired, I don't know how to lift weights or even use this machine, I don't know anything, and you just focus on the task itself, you've already lost. If you are focused on the result itself, this is so beneficial because I will be healthier, I will be more active, I will lose weight. Sometimes it has great health benefits. Some women can't conceive because they're heavier. I'm focusing on that baby. This is for the baby. This is for I was just diagnosed with diabetes. This is for my health. Like if you're like really results focused versus task focused, being disciplined is easier and more achievable than you think. All right, so my second thing that I did was I eliminated distractions. Now, that could be as simple as putting your phone on Do Not Disturb, Or if you live with people, roommates, hey, I'm about to start studying, my phone's going to be on silent, no ring, please do not knock. Just eliminating all distractions. One thing with me, I would just tuck myself away, and I decided that I was not gonna watch any YouTube the whole, but was it the whole time? I think after like a month of doing it, I was like, I'm not gonna watch any YouTube, because sometimes I would like listen to music or something in the background, and then it would slowly like take my attention away and make me take longer to study. So I told myself, I am not gonna look at any YouTube. I'm not gonna touch YouTube at all, because that's something that I guess I enjoy doing, and I wanted to just eliminate that distraction and focus on this. And I also use it as like motivation, like because I really like YouTube and I want to watch YouTube again. I want to know what people are doing, right? I loved vlogs and that kind of stuff. So because I wanted to see what was going on, I was like, this kind of probably will motivate me to get it done so I can get back to watching YouTube. The funny thing is, after I finished the course, I got so used to not watching YouTube that habit was broken, and I barely watched YouTube again after that. It took me like a month to get back into watching YouTube, or even open up the YouTube app, I think. Honestly, I was like, oh, I forgot that I had this little rule that I couldn't watch YouTube, but that's funny. But that shows what breaking a bad habit can do. So the second distraction that I eliminated. Now, this is very, very, very important, especially for us females, because we are more emotional, which is not a bad thing, but we are more emotional than men. Well, honestly, these days, I don't even know, but hey, that's another video. But we women are more on the emotional side, right? So especially for us ladies. So I started talking to someone, which is my son's dad, and if you watched a few of my videos, that I am currently separated, right? And so I started talking to him around that time that I was studying, which I don't even think it's a coincidence with me being a Christian, but anywho, and but I made it very crystal clear, like, I'm studying to get my real estate license. You want to hang out, I am going to have to study first, and then we could hang out later. And sometimes I will hang out with him like after like 10 o'clock some nights. I think I remember like a few nights like, dang, like it's kind of late. But yeah, so I eliminated that distraction. Now, if you are in a relationship and y'all are, honeymoon phase and whatnot, if you have an understanding partner, just make it nice and crystal clear that, yeah, I have to study. I'm doing this for me, for us, for our family. And if you have kids, and they should, of course, understand, like, I'm studying, but you eliminate that distraction, because you think about it, like after work, after a long day, you don't really want to study, so you would much rather be hanging up with somebody that you're, have feelings for or whatnot. But like I said, I was results focused versus task focused. So I didn't make it like, man, I really would rather just be, hanging out with him versus studying right now. I was results focused. Okay. So the last thing is mindset. Now, we hear all the time, mindset, like, what does that even mean? No, God told me something, and I'm Christian, so I'm going to mention him a few times. I'm sorry, y'all. Just skip past if you don't want to hear about God. But anyway, God told me a long time, when the devil attacks you, he attacks your mind first, right? So have you ever heard the saying, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything, right? If you don't have a strong mindset in anything that you do, in everything that you do, when something is thrown at you, you can easily fall, right? With me having this, for example, the relationship that I, happened to start around the time that I was doing my course, my mindset was already set, like, I really, really want this, especially since God already told me that he wanted me in real estate. I was like, oh my gosh, like and I started to watch videos about people in real estate and to see like what the opportunity brings and how exciting that career was. So because I was really result focused, not much like knocked me off of my course, except when that relationship went south. No, so yes, I was disciplined and I stuck to my schedule, but my spiritual discipline was weakening, right? But that's, like I said, that's another topic for another day. But this is just the reality. So like I said, I took a 3-week break. It was because me and him had a falling out about something, and my mind, like if I think about what my thoughts were in that moment, I was just thinking like, I just was like, pity party, like, why do I even bother? Why do I even try? You know, why did I even, whatever? It doesn't even make sense to try, yada, yada, yada. And so I just kind of like just took a break from doing that, because I was very negative in the sense of, hey, why even bother? Why put your effort into anything if it's just gonna flop, especially when you really wanted something, and you know, it was just like taken away from you for no reason. So your mindset, and this is another thing, and this is just me being a Christian, whenever you really want something, especially if you know that this is your purpose, this is what you really want, expect a distraction. Like I said, I don't find it a coincidence that as soon as I started real estate, here come this person, especially with how my life played out with this person in my life. Testimony coming soon. Stick around. But yeah, so you need to really expect, like, if there's gonna be distractions, right? And you need to have a game plan. Like, if this were to come up, how am I gonna handle it? Like, what am I gonna do? What can I do to prevent this from happening? Maybe I should have just told, not even maybe, I should have just told, well, sorry, because I wouldn't have had my son. At that time, I should have just told him, like, I'm not really ready for a relationship. Like, I have some things going on. I live by myself. I paid all my bills by myself. I was new to the country. I think I was here for like 3 years or so, or less, probably like 2 years I was here. Man, like this means a lot to me. So I really can't take on a relationship right now. Maybe that's what I should have done. But I was just all happy and naive, and everything's going great and fine and dandy, and I did not prepare for a distraction. So keep that in mind. If you feel like real estate is really something that you want to do, and you feel like that's what you're supposed to do, please expect that there's going to be distractions. I did a client here the other day, and she was saying that, so she is a apartment manager, right? Like a leasing manager, apartment manager. And she said that, so I asked, was like, did you need your real estate license to do that? Because I've been trying to get some jobs here, and everybody talking about some Texas real estate license. And she was like, no. And she was like, actually, I did try to get the license. It was an 80-hour pre-licensing course. It was just so hard. I was going through so much mentally. It was around COVID. It was around 2019, and I just couldn't do it. And I just remember thinking, like, I understand, because if your mind's not right, get the heck up out of real estate. And that's like kind of how it is with other jobs too, like jobs that really require discipline, like becoming a lawyer or like a doctor or like a nurse, or like a parent. If you don't have the discipline, it's gonna be like so much harder to do, right? Anywho, so the 3 things were strict schedule, so discipline, eliminate distraction, ties into discipline, mindsets, be more result focused versus task focused, all ties into discipline, y'all. And that's really gonna help you do that lessons course. So having a strict schedule and sticking to it was the main reason why I finished that course so fast. Like, I had a strict schedule and I was determined to meet that. So I did 2 hours. Maybe you could do 3 hours a day. Maybe you weren't working a bunch of hours a week for work. Maybe you could break it up. Like, I do like an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, an hour before bed. You know, you do 3 hours a day, or like 3 chapters a day. Sticking to that schedule is really what is going to help you to pass that within 3 months, 2 months, probably 4 months versus the 6 months. So right after I did the pre-licensing course and I finished it, woohoo. So I started in April and I finished in August. Yeah, I finished in August. So May, June, July, August. Yeah, finished in August. And I did my state exam, not state exam, I did the national, I think it's called the national exam. and I passed. You know, I thought I was gonna fail. I don't know why, but I passed. It was like, oh, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And I did it in the comfort of my own home, thankfully. So I did the national exam, and I think I studied for that national exam. I did like a week after. So I did that. I did the national exam, but how I studied for that was so with each chapter, you have like a little test or like some questions to finish and pass the national exam. Now, like I said, when you really, really feel like you're supposed to be doing something, there's going to be a distraction. And what do you think came about as soon as I wanted to do my state exam? Take a wild guess. My son's dad. It's my fault. I'm not blaming anyone. It's me. It's all me. I should have been disciplined. And I should have been more spiritually disciplined. I remember it was September time because we rekindled around like my birthday. Actually, we rekindled at the ending of when I finished my real estate course, but we met up on my birthday. But anywho, so I started to get a lot of anxiety out of nowhere, and I started to second guess myself. And so my mind was attacked first. So my mindset started to shift from my anxiety and like second guessing became fear and doubt. Like, can I really do this? Like, I heard the state exam is gonna be 4 hours long. I heard it's 160 questions, it's like 157 questions. It's a 2-hour drive. Every little thing, any little negative thought that I could think of was going in my brain. And I'm so sorry, I'm a spiritual person. I'm a Christian. And so, but the reason, now that I'm mature and more spiritually disciplined, I know that I was starting to mirror my son's dad. He can have a lot of anxiety sometimes. He can be very negative. You know, like a lot of times, like self-sabotage, like opportunities for himself. And sometimes are real, you know? So I started to think like him. It's crazy. So my mindset was already, my mind was attacked. My mindset was already down. And then I told myself, well, I don't need to study for the state exam. Like, I feel like I already know it, you know? So I did not study. So my discipline went out the window and my strict schedule went out the window. So all of those things I did not do, it went out the window. And guess what happened? I failed my exam. And I stuck with this man, and I kept failing my exam over and over and over again until I finally like left. I think I remember after Rose was born, I didn't recognize myself. I'm like, who am I? Like, I know that I can do this. And there was just so many things that was happening in that time. I think it took me a year, because Rose was born the next year. It literally took me a year to pass my state exam. Be careful who you guys choose. Be careful who you choose as a partner. Oh my gosh. Like, the realization of like why it took me that long is embarrassing, but it's a part of my testimony, and it can help you guys, right? Don't do what I did. So anywho, I left his home and I decided to change my mindset. That was the first thing I said I was going to change. I told myself that, Maya, like, you gotta cut this anxiety out. You know the material, right? You know how to study, you know? Like, I don't understand why you feel intimidated by these questions. You know how to study, you know the material, and stop worrying about wasting a 4-hour drive. Like, stop putting that into the atmosphere, and stop worrying about like, what if you fail again this time? Like, if you fail again then this time, then, because whenever, at least in Georgia, whenever you fail the exam, they tell you like where you missed points. Like, you missed 3 points out of 10 points for contracts, or 7 points out of 17 points for math. So you know, like, okay, like I really got to work on my math. I really got to work on my contracts. I really got to work on laws or vocabulary or whatever it is. So at least you know, like, okay, like I'm going to use this as I have to focus on this. And that's what I did. So out of all of the exams, I failed 3 times. Out of all of the exams that I failed, the things that I kept missing the most was math, which I've always had a problem with math when I was younger. Just really just gave me anxiety when I was younger, which I carried into my adulthood, sadly, which I don't do anymore. And laws. So like a lot of information sometimes overwhelms me, and all the laws was kind of overwhelming me. So I decided to go back to what I first did when I was studying. So I had a strict schedule. So first I changed my mindset, and then I decided to have a strict schedule. So now I am at my sister's place because, like I said, I moved out from my fiance at the time's place, and I have a baby. So I'm working, I'm a hairstylist, I'm doing hair, and I told myself, like, okay, when I'm not having appointments, I am going to study in the morning and study at nighttime, and my mom will in between there watch my son. So I did 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at nighttime. Every single day, did not skip a beat. I did every single day. I was result focused, not task focused. And then on top of that, I also looked for resources. So I used to look at this guy called Prep Agent, and I think it's Prep Agent, where he just pretty much does like little pop quizzes, and he goes over vocabulary and helps, and he talks to students and he records it live and just like quizzes them and tests them. It really just helps to refresh your memory on the realistic questions. So I used to look at that, and I decided to take his course that helps prepare you for the test. And I did it. I did his 30-day course, so I know I had 30 days to really soak up as much information as possible, right? So did the 30-day course, and what I did was study math a lot. And I told myself, I'm not gonna let math intimidate me anymore. I'm going to know it so well that when I see the question, I already know how to calculate this formula. That simple. I saw the problem, I analyzed it, I created a solution. I don't like math, it gives me anxiety. Why does it give me anxiety? Because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna study that, I'm gonna keep studying the math until I see it, I know the formula, I know how to calculate it, I already know like what that means, what this means, what that symbol means. And it's, how can I be intimidated? Because I already know the material, right? And I executed the plan. And I did the same thing for contracts and for laws. Well, I did the same thing for laws, that was intimidating me. And then I would do that first thing in the morning. Like I would just get it out the way, get it done. And then I would brush up on my vocabulary, my contracts and other stuff like that, and little rules and regulations. And so I did that for about 30 days. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'm on my sister's couch with my newborn, y'all. And I was still disciplined. So I just want to put that out there. Like, yes, you might be going through a hard time, but don't you want to get out of that hard time? If you really, 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 really want to get out of that hard time, you got to work towards that, right? So I did not make excuses. I am someone that came from a teeny tiny island where we did not have that many opportunities, but we were always cheerful and happy. And you could be broke and you don't even know that you're broke on the island, right? And I came here with a few $100s in my pocket, wanted to be a fashion designer. And when that didn't work out, I adapted. I did not sit and dwell in it. I adapted and I did what was necessary. Did I like that I came from a nice, not happy home, a bigger home, and now I'm in a 800 square foot apartment? I'm so sorry, the dog is gonna be barking. I'm gonna try to hurry up. I didn't like that, but I didn't make excuses. So I did that, stuck to my schedule, and I passed my exam. And I was so happy, so excited, so elated. And I did it, and I changed my mindset. I became result focused and not task focused, and I stuck to my schedule, and I did it. So anyone can do this. You don't have to. I did not have the best grades in school at all. And that's another story. I did not have the best grades. I was not the best studier, but I decided to change my mindset. I decided to do the work. I decided to stick to a strict schedule, and it worked. Okay? That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you learned something. And like I said, I'll be doing more real estate videos, particularly for new agents. Comment down below if you are currently doing a real estate license course, thinking about it, you keep failing, and you just want to talk about it so we could, like, you know, relate together. I am so happy to be doing real estate videos again, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, you Proverbs 31 with it, huh?